Hello, everyone. My name is Mallory Lawn, and I did the Temple in Spain program the spring of 2022. So today I'm just going to be talking to you guys about the program and getting more into details about it and giving a little overview of everything. So Temple Spain takes place in Oviedo, Spain, and Oviedo is in the region of Asturias. So I'm going to talk today about why Oviedo, academics, housing, cultural enrichment, challenges and support, finances, and the application process. So a little overview of the program. Oviedo is the capital city of the region of Asturias. These are just some photos. On the left over here is the campus that is at the University of Oviedo, which is where the classes would be. This is a park in Oviedo, lots of space, lots of mountains. This is more like the downtown area. This is also more like the downtown center area. So a little bit about Oviedo. Oviedo is the capital city of the Asturias region. It's administrative, but also commercial, and it's the cultural center of the region. It's very modern, but also very old town feeling as well. There's significant history. There's museums, libraries, and it's a university town for sure. There's lots of local college students. When I was there, it felt like I was definitely getting immersed in all the local Spain culture, but I also enjoyed how it did feel like I was also in a college community. And because Oviedo is the capital city, there's so many ways to get around. There's taxis, buses, and trains, and there's also an airport in Oviedo as well. I can take you to a lot of the Spanish cities and external places. Here's just a photo of Asturias. Asturias is so beautiful. It's very rural and mountainous. There's also tons of beaches. And this is it right over here. So very northwestern Spain. And this is Galicia, and Portugal's right here. So it's very, very close to Portugal as well. So a little bit about the program in general. You would be taking classes at the University of Oviedo's La Casa de las Lenguas, which translates to the House of Languages. Your courses would be taught by native Spanish-speaking professors at the University of Oviedo. And we do have our professor Jaime, who is from Oviedo. He also teaches classes there as well. And he's an amazing director. You guys will be able to get to talk to him more one-on-one. He's great for any questions you have specifically. And I think that also made part of my program that much better, is having someone who grew up there and knows really the way of the land and was able to show us all the best like local spots. It was definitely a plus. And what makes Oviedo so unique as well is the homestay program, which I'm going to talk about in a few slides. So now getting into the different options. If you were interested in doing the spring semester, you would go from early January to mid-May, and you would take 5 courses at the intermediate and the advanced levels in the Spanish language or in literature or cultural studies. There's such a variety of classes. You could take art, you could take a grammar class, you could take a vocabulary class. There's really so many different ways you could go with this. And you would need a prereq of Spanish 2001 before you could go for the spring semester. So if you're getting up into the Spanish 2000 level and you want to make sure you register for this so that you know exactly when you want to go, make sure you can get in on time, definitely keep this in the back of your mind when registering for classes. Or if you're an earlier Spanish and still think you might be interested in doing a spring semester in Oviedo, it's never too late to start planning ahead and making sure you get it in the timely manner. So for the spring, there's so many ways of cultural immersion that you will experience. It starts with a 5-day orientation program, visiting cities of historic and cultural significance. It typically takes place in Madrid. So you would land in Madrid from your flight from America. You would check into a hotel, stay there for 5 days with your program. It's a great way to get to know everyone in your program. And Jaime is a really great way of designing the whole orientation week. So you get to experience not only just Madrid, but very significant cities nearby. There's so much to see and do in the Madrid area as well, and it's definitely a great way to get you started and settled into Spain. For my program, my orientation was in Oviedo because I did go in the peak Omicron variant. Everything depends on COVID, but right now it is looking good. So we're always going to give updates on how the orientation program is looking. Either way, you will be definitely getting that cultural enrichment within your first week there, regardless of where. Another big part of the program in Spain is the monthly Jaime dinners. Like I said, Jaime grew up in Asturias, so he knows really the best places to take you in Oviedo. So every month you would get together with your program and you would try a new restaurant. Jaime picks it. You just get to sit down, chat with one another, and try all the local food. The food there is amazing. It was a huge part of why I loved Spain so much. And Asturias has a culture of its own when it comes to food. So that Jaime dinners were definitely a highlight for my program as well. You would also be taking place in a weekend excursion. This is to Picos de Europa, which is a national park right along the northern region of Spain. And that would take place in May towards the end of the program. And Jaime would go with you on this as well. And lastly, there's tons of additional cultural programming that Casa de las Lenguas organizes for you. They know that you guys are here internationally. They know you want to get the most immersion as possible. There's programs such as the Tandem Partner, which is when you're trying to learn Spanish and a Spanish speaker is trying to learn English. So you'll get matched up with the Spanish speaker and you guys will meet at your own preference. Sometimes it's once a week, twice a week, really depends on how your schedules line up. But you would just meet and converse with them for about an hour a day and really get to just chit chat with one another. It's a great way to stay connected and keep up your Spanish speaking skills. And it's another great way to make friends, meet new people, and they get to learn their English. It's the best of both worlds for that. There's also lots of excursions from the Casa de las Lenguas to, say, a local museum. I took an art class and we got to take a day trip to one of the Oviedo museums and get to see the work that we'd been studying in person. Things like that really make it all the way, like you really get the most out of your program when it comes to things like that, being able to picture everything you've been learning in real life. It's just something that you really can't get anywhere else. Now, if you weren't sure if you could do the whole spring semester or if that seems like a little bit too long for you, the summer program is another great option. This would take place for about 4 weeks in July, and you would take two courses, one in the Spanish language and then one in either Spanish literature, cultural studies, or gen ed, so 2 3-credit courses. For this, you would need a prereq of Spanish 1001 or 1002. So if you're a little bit earlier on in the Spanish game and think you might be interested in this summer, I'll talk more about the deadlines and keeping this in the back of your mind. With the summer, you still get a lot of the same cultural enrichment that you would have in the spring. You would have the 5-day orientation program either in Madrid or in Asturias, depending on the COVID situation. You would have weekly Jaime dinners instead of monthly, since the time is a little bit shorter. So Jaime would still take you to the best Oviedo restaurants. You get to meet with your group, get to hear how everyone's program is going. It's a really great way to stay connected with everyone. You would also be attending the weekend excursion to Picos de Europa, again, the national park, so you would still get to do that as well. And there is still that additional cultural programming and the leisure activities that Casa de las Lenguas will organize for you. Again, it's an international school within a local college. They know that you guys want to make the most out of your experience. So either spring or summer, you'll definitely be getting a majority of the same experiences. It just depends on if you want longer, or if you want a little bit shorter. These are just some photos of past students in the programs. So talking about housing, what makes Oviedo, in my opinion, very unique and standing out from the other Temple programs is the housing situation. So any program participant in the Temple Spain program will be residing in a homestay. So with the homestay, you have a very unique opportunity of living with a Spanish family. They would cook you dinner, so you get to have their authentic cuisine and maximum exposure to the language. These people do not speak English. You'll be conversing with them in only Spanish. So if you're passionate and you know you want to take your Spanish to the next level, staying in a homestay is the best option for you. I had a host mom and a host dad. They were about mid-early 50s, and they had 2 brothers or 2 sons who were probably early 30s, moved out of the house already. So they were just empty nesters looking to bring in a host kid. They've been doing it for years. So I had a really great family, and my 2 host brothers would still come over every Sunday for dinner. I'd get to meet the cousins and the extended family. The home family really does a great job at immersing you in their family. They know you're only there for X amount of time, and they know this is something they were passionate about. They wanted to take in a student, so they really do the most to make sure you get the most out of the program. You would take a quiz beforehand, just kind of asking you about your preferences, what you look for in a home family, anything specific that the program should know, and then they will match you up in the best possible way to a host family that matches your preferences. This is, for me, the way I improved my Spanish speaking the most, because I had such a great host family that I would talk to for hours after dinner. I would just sit with my host mom on the couch and we would just talk back and forth and back and forth. And they are very patient. They know you're not from the country. They know you're here to learn Spanish. And yeah, it's really just, in my opinion, the best way to learn the language. It's something you would never get in a classroom. So there obviously are challenges when it comes to any study abroad program, but I'm going to deal with a few right here. So Spain is a modern country with modern issues. However, it is very traditional. There's a lot of culture shocks when you go to any different country. Balancing schoolwork with life abroad can be a lot sometimes. And lastly, you would be adjusting to a brand new life. It's new food, new friends, new family, and lots of different customs. And for any study abroad program that you choose, you will be taking a few quick courses on dealing with culture shock and the different support systems that will be available to you when you go abroad. So these are just something to always consider when you're applying to any study abroad program, and it's no different with Spain. So now getting into the actual application process. So in order to apply, you must be a currently matriculated full-time student. You have to have completed at least 2 semesters of college. If you're interested in doing the spring semester, you have to have a cumulative GPA of 2.75 at least. And for the summer, it has to be at least a 2.5. And you have to be in good academic and disciplinary standing. And some upper level courses might have prerequisites. I'll explain it a little bit later, but you can always check our website for more details. There's a whole Temple Spain specific tab that you can delve more into the specifics with. You will be applying online, studyabroad.temple.edu, and you will also need an academic advisor recommendation form for Temple University students. So for the spring semester, the application deadline is October 1st, and for the summer, it is February 15th. So now breaking up the finances a little bit. So for the spring semester, Temple students will be paying the main campus school or college tuition. So for example, if you're in a Klein college, you'll be paying the regular Klein college tuition that you would pay at Temple, which would be for 15 credits since you'll be taking 5 classes. And if you go in the summer, you'll be paying your main campus tuition, which is what 6 credits would cost. And with financial aid, all federal and state financial aid can be used towards the program. You should definitely consult with Student Financial Services before going abroad. I met with mine just to make sure everything was good. And for the summer, I definitely want to recommend that you meet with financial aid because summer gets a little different when it comes to scholarships. If you're not someone who regularly takes summer courses, but you will be to go to Spain, I would definitely double check on that to make sure it could be transferred over. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about fees. So for the spring semester, there is a Spain fee of about $5,000. And with that, this includes the cost of getting your visa, your week trip in Madrid, the hotel stay, all your meals in Madrid. And it also includes the homestay cost, which includes, your host family getting you 3 meals a day, doing your laundry. It gives you all your meals in Oviedo when you go to the Jaime dinners. So you definitely get a lot out of that fee, but that is also something to consider. There's a whole cost breakdown on the website as well. And for the summer program, I believe there is an additional fee of around $1,800, which includes the same thing, the weekend excursion to Picos de Europa, the Madrid stay, hotel stay, meals in Oviedo, Jaime dinners, everything like that. So a more specific cost breakdown can be found on the Study Abroad website. There's a whole calculation sheet, so definitely check that out if you're considering it as well. And with that being said, there are lots of scholarships that are available. We offer scholarships for both the spring and the summer programs, and outside funding is also available. Here's just some of the scholarships that are available. There's a whole tab on the Study Abroad website as well, so you can be able to go to studyabroad.temple.edu/costs or scan that QR code right there, and you can type in the specific program you were looking at. So if you were looking for Temple Spain, it will give you the available scholarships you could apply for. Also, it doesn't hurt to do your own research, and if you've been looking at a scholarship and it's not available on the Temple website, but you're wondering if it could be applied, reach out to the Study Abroad office. We'd love to discuss more and figure out which ones you should be applying for. Okay, so just for some key takeaways, you will be taking all Spanish courses, whether it's for the spring or the summer. However, the Temple Spain program is looking to expand, and we will be eventually expanding into having more than just Spanish courses available. So if you're not sure if you can do all Spanish courses and fit it into your schedule, definitely stay tuned for some announcements because we have many more options coming to students soon. We're hoping by fall of 2023 to have some more availability for students outside of just Spanish. So definitely stay tuned for that because there are other things coming. And flexible housing. So you will be paired up with a host family. We will match you up to the best of our ability. However, if it's something that ends up not working out with that specific family, we are flexible. There's ways you can change families. If you're not happy, we definitely want you to be as comfortable as possible. So don't think you're just going to get thrown into a random family and it's going to be terrible and it's not going to work out, because it will work out. It's all going to be okay. Cultural enrichment is a main takeaway for me from this program. It made me so much more immersed. I'm so glad I went to a more local city in Spain rather than a big touristy city where there's tons of English being spoken and I'm not getting as much of a local feel. That's what makes Oviedo truly such a great learning city, is because you're going to be in such a local culture. And one thing that stood out to me a lot is that there's the European study abroad program called Erasmus. So I met people from Germany, Italy, France, everywhere, all over the world, who's there trying to learn Spanish. So you will be so many people, even just outside of Spanish students, you'll meet everyone. So that's something I didn't even think about until I got there, and I met all of these people from all over. And that's, again, what makes Oviedo really unique, much more so than a very modern touristy city, is that it's a small town and there's tons of international students there. So you're going to be a big fish in a small pond when it comes to Oviedo. Student support is always there because we're a Temple program. You're going to have tons of Temple support options for you. If you decide to go to Spain, you will be taking some courses with more information about the support programs that we have. You also will have Professor Jaime, who's going to be your director of the program. He will be there with you the entire time you're in Spain. So you're going to have a Temple faculty member who's there to support you. He wants to see you thrive. He wants to see you do well. And if you're ever uncomfortable or you're not sure about something, Jaime is the best to go to for a situation like that. I did go over how to apply and how to finance, but if you want more specifics, I would definitely go on to studyabroad.temple.edu/Spain. You'll get much more specifics on everything you need for the application and a bigger cost breakdown with the Spain fees included. So with that, that is all about Temple Spain. I know this is just a recorded session, so if you have any specific questions, please come into the second floor of Tuttleman. That's where our office is located. Or if it's something that you think you could maybe need a longer talk for, definitely make an appointment with our peer advisors. I'm a peer advisor, and I can help you with anything you need for this program. I know how daunting the application process can be, so definitely reach out, get some more advice if needed, because I can't recommend this program enough. It is the highlight of my college career, and as a Spanish minor, I completed my minor abroad, and I even considered moving up to the Spanish major. So if that's something that's interesting to you, definitely think about it now while you're at Temple. But yeah, I know it seems daunting, but once you're there, everything falls right into place. You will meet the most amazing people. You will learn so much Spanish. And yeah, that's all I have to say today. Please feel free to stop by if you have any more questions or anything specific. Thank you so much for listening.